What is up, my friends? Hello! Welcome! My name is Stormie Calder. In this video, I'm going to talk about real life timeline jumps, a wrinkle in time, and I'm going to tell you about a very funky experience I just had because it's story time. That's why. And part of me thinks I might not post this video, but I think I might. So I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to tell you the story, and you can see the level through which Spirit speaks to me through my very zany life. And I'm going to talk about timeline hopping and the experience of that being a very visceral, very real, real life experience. Okay, I'm just going to tell you this story. All right. So you guys know, if you don't, what's going on? I'm a psychic medium, I'm a shaman, I'm a spiritual coach. I do all things metaphysical and paranormal. I read energy. So the funny thing about reading energy, when you are as developed as I am in that way, as much of an expert in energy reading, is that when you read energy, energy likes to be read. Energy is like a gorgeous woman. Like, she's like, read me, look at me, pay attention to me. So dear God, do my angels like to put on a show for me? So I'm going to tell you the story. I just went to a comedy show. Here's my tag. I went to a comedy show. All right. I had a bit of a rough day. So the way that I handle that is by laughing and by injecting myself into situations that would make me laugh. So I go to this comedy show. It's called, you guys would love this, okay? This is the entire story I'm going to tell you right now is a trip. And if you didn't see the last video I posted on the year updates, the way that the energy tends to navigate me, I was going to say the way that I navigate energy, but actually the way that energy navigates me tends to be in trips or journeys, because my energy is so pristinely clear, high vibrational, and clean. Like I don't do things to lower my vibration. The universe likes to play with me like a magic show. So I am very, 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 very sober. And I swear to God, this, for most people, this would be like a mushroom trip, but I experienced this level of magic sober. So I'm going to tell you about it, and we'll see what comes out of this. So I go to this comedy show that is called Ego Death. I don't even know how I ended up at that show. I just did. I literally was in a shit mood, and I was like, I need to laugh. I'm showing up. And I show up, and the show is called Ego Death. There are paper mache mushrooms on the stage, and I was like, this is really cute. Like, this is cute. Okay, like, let's see what's going on here. For those of you that don't know, mushrooms have a frequency. They don't need to be ingested to carry you through a trip. So we entered the trip stage. So anyway, the comedians went through individual stories that they had never told anyone before. And then they did this comedic karaoke. Each comedian like picked a song and did some karaoke. Anyway, halfway through the show, I was burnt out and I was like, this is not my vibe. And I was like, wow, I'm just like not really enjoying this. And my guides were like, leave. And I was like, I don't know, I'm struggling. I paid for the ticket. I was like, I'll stay. I'm not saying you can't leave mid-show, but I was like, let me respect the rest of the performers and sit my ass down for another 30 minutes and finish out the show. I'm not the sort of person to typically leave early. The next set, this guy comes on stage. I was like, this is one of the most radically psychotic looking humans I have ever seen. We're just gonna start there. The craziest hair, and I'm not a judgmental person. I'm just painting the picture for you, okay? And I'm not gonna drill it down too much, but like the craziest hair, like really wild clothing. His eyes were very interesting. He looked kind of like a toad almost, actually. No offense to the toads out there. Anyway, he was telling this entire story about how when he was in high school, there was this girl he really liked, and he didn't like overtly ask her out. They were kind of like sideline friends for a long time, I guess. And he tried to go to the same school as her in college and did some road trip together and whatever. She was sleeping with lots of other guys and like never saw him. And I was like, I don't know where this is going. I didn't know it was relevant to me, but we'll get there. Okay, so this man tells his whole story and then goes into the karaoke part of the song and the karaoke part of the set. Oh, I was looking for my phone and I'm shooting on my phone. And this is where it got really wild. Okay, so this girl's name apparently was Emily. My first name is Emelina. That was close enough. I didn't realize, like, as he's singing through the song, Goo Goo Dolls Iris. All right, and I had to look up the lyrics because I was like, what is going on here right now? And how did this get directed at me? This is the universe, like, really playing with me that I'll get into. And just continue vibing with me on this story. Okay, so he's singing this song. And I was like, I'm just here for this performance, and this is wild. Like, he took ketchup on stage, smeared it all over his face for the part of the song where there's blood involved, and was like really performing, okay? Then he starts screaming out during the song, like, F you, Emily, I never needed you. You were never like the person I needed. Like, I can do this without you. I never needed you. You were out of my league, but I never needed you. He's staring directly at me while he is saying this. I'm gonna cry laughing because I think it's so funny because I don't understand how this happened. Like, the magic of how my guides and the universe kind of did this. Then the spotlights in the room turn on. And what I'll say is when he said the name Emily, all of a sudden I felt this jolt move down my spine and I had that hyper alertness that happens in an adrenaline response. And I went, uh-oh. I think something about this is for me. I was like, no, I think this is for me specifically. And I don't know if I'm getting the message, but I just got the download. And then, where is I going? Ketchup face screams out Emily, says a bunch of things about some woman he fell in love with when he was 17 that he didn't follow through with. And then, oh my gosh. Oh, the spotlights. Okay. You guys, he said my name. He's singing, screaming at me with ketchup on his face. And there were like 40 people in the room, but it was like I was dead center. And the spotlights are on. They turn on like immediately after that jolt goes down my spine. And I'm like, oh yeah, they probably lit the whole room. And I look up and I go, uh-oh. Am I tripping? I was like, are those spotlights on me? Those spotlights were on me. Yours truly, single and only. And I was like, oh, this is very strange. I was like, I'm sorry, who hates me this much that they are channeling a song on stage, screaming at me with ketchup on their face, calling out a name that is of such a level of likeness to me, staring at me, and the universe placed literal spotlights on me. Literally. I was lit up and he was singing directly at me. I was like, okay. I did a double take a number of times and I was like, there are too many things going on here right now that are just clearly not a coincidence. This is one of the loudest memos I've gotten in a while, and I don't really know what it means. Talk about karmic attachment releases during full moons. Okay. Wild. I walk home. I see my neighbor, who I adore, who was getting out of a taxi. And she was like, how are you? And she came and gave me a hug. She was like, what's up? You were out on the town? I was like, I was just seeing some comedy. And we were talking about comedy. And then I told her this story. And she knows me and she knows the work that I do. And she was like, well, sweetheart. She was like, I don't know if you need a louder sign. You just walked away from your past. You just like up and left that shit. Like that is just no longer a part of your reality or part of your story. And I was like, I guess so. I was like, I'm just trying to piece together like this. Like, may as well have said my name. The spotlight was on me, and this man was faking death. The show was called Eco Death. I watched a man assassinate his character on stage. Like, I can't even. When I got home, my guides told me that that was an entity type specifically. Besides also maybe a culmination of some men I've dated. But like that entity type is the psychopathic attachment. It's a pathological attachment. It's the attachment of a narcissist. And they told me, my guides told me specifically, they were like, that pathological attachment, that entity type really wanted to get up in your face and really had something to say to you. So if you guys have heard me speak about this, if you haven't, I'm going to touch on it briefly. When we deal with repetitive karmic patterns, we're dealing with entity attachments. So for example, anyone that has dealt with alcoholism, alcohol is a spirit. It is an attachment type. Anyone that has dealt with drug addiction, that is an attachment type. Anyone that has dealt with narcissism, that is an attachment type. Those attachments are entities. They are spirits. They are shadowed, dark, depleted, very mean spirits, and they attach to hosts. They don't live without a host. And if you have a repetition or a history of dealing with these attachments in your family or in people you've dated or slept with, even, these attachments will find their way back into your life in one way or another because you are now a host for that attachment. So when I think about people and situations and repetitive karmic patterns that I've dealt with in my life, yes, I do think about those people and I keep them out of my life. But really it comes down to karmic attachments, and the pathological narcissistic attachment decided to get all up in my face today, call me out with spotlights, and pretend it was dying while singing the Goo Goo Dolls' Iris to me. Talk about a personalized show from God. Now, my guides called this a wrinkle in time. They said that I walked through a portal to an alternate reality so that I could see something very clearly in front of my face that I was missing, I guess. And that I had made a timeline jump. I think I made one today. I made one a few days ago, really loudly around just sorts of behaviors that I am no longer available for or dealing with in my life from other humans. And you know what they're showing me right now? The timeline. I made a big timeline shift, and because of how powerful I am with my spiritual work and how I move reality for myself, it became almost immediately contextualized in front of me in the form of a stage so that I could watch like a movie and walk away when I was done. And when I was done with that comedy show, I went, I'm out. Like, I do not need to talk to anyone about this except my neighbor, apparently. And even that was synchronistic. And, you know, she said to me too, she was like, well, what's really beautiful is you left your past behind. And I was like, yeah, I think I did. And then she was like, did you even think for a moment, like, you know what? I'm going to stay. I'm gonna stay a little longer. Let me go see Ketchup Face Man and see, like, maybe we can be friends. And like, maybe I should talk to him. And I was like, F no. Like, A, that was the most unattractive stuff I have ever seen. It was very unattractive to me. don't know what else to say. Like, I literally was just like, this is so unattractive. And I was like, you just know when something's good and you know when something's not good. And when it's not good, you don't go up to it and say hi. Like, you just, like, I'm out. And she was like, you didn't even think about it. You didn't get stuck in any karmic patterns. You just walked away. When the show was done, you went, oh, I don't think I'd want to see that again. I think I'm done. And then you walked away. And I was like, yeah. Wow. So this is my long story of telling you guys what a quantum shift looks like with me. I don't know if it looks like that with everybody. It certainly does not. But you know, it's really interesting how my guidance system will work with me because I understand like how the fabric of reality kind of weaves itself in front of me. And that was one of the most oddly reality defying magical experiences I think I have ever experienced. Like, it took pure magic to do that performance. Like, I don't even know. It's just wild. Like, what level of fairies and entity types were working behind the scenes to last minute get the spotlights directly on me in the audience. Like, while saying my name, I was supposed to be named Emily. When I was growing up, they changed my name to Emelina, which is a family name. The family was like, we're not going to have an Emily. Like, they were like, Emelina is a family name. She could be named after a family. Greats, grandmothers. So even that, it's like I was being targeted for the version of me that wasn't me. Like, the person on stage, the narcissist on stage, I'm not saying the comedian, but what was being acted out. The narcissist on stage was targeting me as what was going to be my first identity that my soul rejected because it wasn't the name I took when I came into my body. Like, literally other family members made my immediate bloodline relatives change my name to Emelina. They're like, no, not Emily. That's too basic. She's not basic. If they could use that language in the 80s. She's not basic. And it's like that narcissistic attachment called me out and was yelling at me for the previous identity that isn't even me. And was angry that I didn't commit to it. And that I was out of its league. This stuff is wild, you guys, wild. Anyway, we're 18 minutes in. Thank you for joining me on this video. Thank you for joining Stormie with Storytime. Okay, I'm gonna check in with my guides. Maybe is there anything else I need to say or that would be helpful or fun around quantum jumping? So they're showing me that they're like, there's a loud curtain call. When it's time to exit, stage left, leave, get out of the reality, there's usually a really, really loud sign. Now, can you guys tell me in relationship what, I think I already left the reality now. You needed to leave it out of your conscious mind. So I had shut down many different doors. The way that I handle changing timelines and handling karma is I handle people in the moment with what behaviors I will accept or what I will not accept and what my standards are. And I had a conversation recently with someone where all of a sudden, like, a lot of karmic patterns were in front of my face with this person, and I was just like, I'm not dealing with this. I was like, you don't even know me. Like, you have absolutely no permission to speak to me that way. Like, you're negging me, you are projecting on me, you are psychologically actively trying to harm me in conversation, and for whatever reason think you're gonna get away with it. Like, anyone who is good at psychological talk, anyone who's actually like a therapist or a coach, is not randomly giving advice to strangers without them asking. A, that's codependent. B, it's dark psychology. C, it's highly manipulative. D, if any of the women need to know, that is how many abusive men make their way into your lives, is by psychologically damaging you on entry. The second you see it, just get it out. Piss off. I do not have time for this. I think I wasted 30 minutes of time that I can't get back. Next time, I'm just gonna say no and walk away. And I might even go all 90s and be like, talk to the hand. I don't have time for this. Talk to the hand. The more attention they get, the more avid these people tend to be with this lack of boundaries as well. So like this type that I have, that I attract in, that I've had to deal with, they tend to be celebrities. They tend to have a lot of attention, smaller celebrities. And I'm just like, man, like the level of performance value. They're always performers. So to see a performer on stage smear ketchup on their face, this is a comedian. Comedians, I don't usually do stuff like this. They tell jokes. He smeared ketchup on his stage and sang Iris to me in the crowd, saying a version of my name that I am not, but is close enough, which is the version of me that was supposed to come into this life that my parents wanted me to be, which I am not. Everybody thought they were getting basic when they got me. Everyone thought they were getting a basic B when they got me. They got nothing basic. They were like, we have a magician in the house and she's very well adept. She knows exactly what she's doing. Even when she was a little kid, she knew what she was doing. Wild. All right, guys, is there anything else we could say or share that might be fun? They're telling me to say how little I care about giving this the slip, giving this the run. Do you mean the psychological attachment? The entire project. It's almost like an entire curriculum, an ascension curriculum, but this is a karmic curriculum, okay? This isn't like I'm ascending, I'm gonna meditate, like I'm getting better and better. This is a dark psychology curriculum, okay? This is like stuff that you get born into or you have to deal with in early childhood, and it gets kind of baked into your expectations of how you expect reality to be or how you expect people to act. And there's a lot of dark psychology in this world and manipulation. So they're telling me just like how quickly I was like, once it was placed in front of me on stage, like in a stage format where I could just get up out of my seat and walk away, I was just like, oh, okay, I'm done. We're good. Launch the balloons. I'm ready for my entrance. Now that the narcissists have exited stage left, I will be coming on stage to perform in my own ways. Thank you very much. Any of you that have been raised by narcissists know that any level of spotlight is just not okay. Oh, no. There's a right amount of spotlight that's okay. When you're raised by narcissists, it's the spotlight on you where there's like this energy of screaming at you. Like you are the cause of the problems. And if you do not people please them, then your existence is ash, dust. Everyone raised by narcissists is like, yeah, like totally, I get it. Wild. Anyway, that is my story for you. I hope you found some value in this. If not, you can just joke along with me and be like, go Stormie, it's your birthday. Yeah, because I just made a real life timeline jump, and that was a crazy way of experiencing it. I can't believe, like, you guys, I thought I was in a movie. Like, I don't know if any of you have had those moments where, like, it's just like time stops and then there were lights in my face. And I'm looking around, and I told my neighbor, I was looking around, like, is there a camera crew here? Like, am I the main character? Do I need to do anything? I was like, is everyone watching this? Like, where are the cameras? Like, it's just crazy, the level of magic. It's crazy that those moments exist in life where it's like time slows down. All of the attention is on you, both your attention on you, the main character's attention on you, but actually I'm the main character, right? And then the room's attention was on me as well. And then, like, feeling that magic of a moment, wild. Wild, wild, wild. So I just left the Wild Wild West. I'm done. I just released a huge karmic attachment. And I'm happy to share the story with you. That's what I've got. Alright, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what'd you think about it. If you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, get out. I'm always gonna give these little contextual rules on all my videos. All right, that's what I got. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. I will see you in the next video or the next story or the next podcast episode. All the things. Okay, lots of love. Bye.